All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me on a Sunday night live. What an absolute pleasure to bring this episode here tonight. We're talking settlement, SWELL, and XRP God candle. I know it's ridiculous, but we need to talk about it. I'm going to share this live session out real quick on Twitter. Everyone's probably shocked that I'm actually live when I said I was going to start the live at 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. We're going to run it up here tonight. I'm letting everybody on Twitter know real quick, and then we're going to get a party going. Actually on time tonight. Appreciate you guys for putting up with me. There's our tweet, and let's get our show rocking and rolling. Now, it's an absolute pleasure to come here tonight. I had a great day today. Sunday with the fam. It's an absolute blessing, and I did actually finish the first installment of the Tactical Wealth Lessons. And this is exclusive for our Patreon community, but if you're looking to get tapped in, it's all at my website, ZachRector.com. And you join our Patreon group to get access to Discord if you want to join the ongoing conversation. And if you want to get this type of exclusive content, where in today's session, I delve into the basics in regards to trust. A lot of people have been asking me and requesting me, what the heck is a trust? Do I need to have a castle before I think of even, creating a trust? And I break down the three components to make up a trust, how simple it actually is. And the hard part here is actually building the wealth, actually acquiring the assets that are worthy of taking the time to put into a trust. So if you're looking to get tapped in with our group, that's on my website, ZachRector.com. And that's going to be the first of many tactical wealth lessons. And I kept it as short and sweet as possible. I didn't want to make it too long. I wanted to make it consumable. I think I came in at about 25 minutes long. But I edited that thing down as tight as I could, so it's just jam-packed with value. So check it out if you want to. That's all over my website, ZachRector.com. With that being said, guys, it's an absolute pleasure. It's just been a blessed day here on a Sunday, very productive. And we watched the market back up here today. It just reminds me that stay in this game, because in the blink of an eye, we're pumping here once again. I titled this session Settlement, SWELL, and XRP God Candle, because I want to talk about this potential pump that we have coming up for XRP, just trying to wrap our minds around how big it's going to be, how the spotlight's going to be on us. You guys are seeing, I was in Twitter Spaces today listening while I was doing my chores around the house, and everybody's talking about Lambo, finding a new girlfriend, everybody's just pumped, and we've only made it back up to 70 cents. And I know that everybody's excited to see it. I am too. We're going to talk about it. XRP really starting to decouple from the rest of the space. It is pretty exciting to see. So right now we're at 34,900 for your Bitcoin, 1885 for Ethereum, and XRP at 68 cents. We closed out the weekly right above 66 cents for XRP. I'll show you it here in a second. Getting started though with Bitcoin, back above 35,000 this last week. This is your weekly chart, way zoomed out, right? To the 2021 bull run where we top out. First, we top out in April. Right at about 65,000. And then we finish off that year in November at 69,000. Then we start a bear market, and that takes us all the way through 2022. But we are in the middle of a bull trap rally, is what I'm calling it. And a lot of folks don't like that because we want the XRP God candle. We want the Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin's really probably not going to have any more God candles. The definition of a God candle, this is so stupid. But just going straight up, right? We've experienced it with Bitcoin in the past. You've experienced it with meme coins. With XRP, it just has this ability, though, to run on its own. Sometimes it's kind of an ominous warning of what is coming for the rest of the space, because sometimes XRP will basically do a fake out pump, take the show for just a day or two, and that's right before the whole space gets killed. That's my worst fear right now, is that we are in the middle of a bull trap rally and this thing is going to correct. But for the sake of a Sunday session, I will stay bullish with everyone here tonight, and I won't rain down on our parade too hard. Thank God Qcoin kicked me off their app, or else I probably would have gotten wrecked in a Bitcoin short by now, to be honest, right? And I probably would have just added to my margin. I would have had to add and cover my butt, a few 2-3 times, because I would have gotten killed in a Bitcoin short. I've been calling this bull trap rally for a while. I've been wrong. That's fine. Like I said, if we're ready to go off on the rocket ship, I've got my bags packed. I'm ready to go to XRP Moon 2. And that's what we're seeing right now on the XRP chart. Taking a look at this thing back above 66 cents on the weekly close. This is your weekly chart all the way back out to 2021 when we topped out at $2. Boy, did we get shorted on that last bull run. We got totally shorted on this last bull run, totally suppressed, not even achieving the all-time high of 2017 when this coin is about a decade old at the time. I mean, it's been around for, at that time it hadn't been around for a decade yet, but it's been around since the very beginning, and we see Ethereum and Bitcoin both doing 3 to 5x from their 2017 bull run. We got shorted to the tune of going up to, $7 to $13 with ease. And that's the God candle that's coming at some point. Breaking back up to this level is going to be exciting, but it's just the start of going into price discovery for XRP. I wanted to start here with just a little bit of, taking a look at the TA, the charts, getting perspective on where we're at on the weekly, way zoomed out, right? So we get a little bit more data to look at, and we're not tweaking out over a 5-minute chart like so many traders try to do. Is they're trying to trade 1 minute and 5-minute candles, and they can't keep up because you're trading against the bots and the algorithms and market maker magicians. We've been talking about this for a long time. And XRP, one of the most controlled, manipulated, and suppressed assets in the world. So it's no shock for us to see XRP going the other way by itself once again. It's nothing new for XRP. We've done this before. I mean, just look back at this chart, what we did on July 13th when Judge Torres gave us that ruling. We had a grand old time going on up to about $1 before we crashed every single exchange that was trading XRP crashed. And then we come on back down with the rest of the cryptocurrency space getting sacrificed back in August, back down to about 40 cents for XRP. Taking a look next here at the DXY, a little bit of perspective. Last year, October, that's when we top out at basically 115 for your DXY. This is your dollar index. Now, what you see is this year, towards the end of this year, a rally in the DXY that was pretty cute, got us up to about 107. But this last week, the DXY gets killed as Jerome Powell gives us another pause. So it was interesting to see because the DXY was down, that's your dollar index, along with your 2-year was back down to about 4.8, and your 10-year was back down to about 4.5. So it's really important that we watch all of these asset classes, right, with the traditional bonds, the traditional equities market, combining that with our cryptocurrency technical analysis gives us so much more perspective when we're trying to figure out where this deal goes next. The only assets that are really primed to pump in a major way are the precious metals, are some other commodities. We're going to see inflation tick back up, and the dollar, as it goes down, the cost of our energy, the cost of every other commodity that we are trading against goes up. And so I'm going to show you the same thing here. Oil's been kind of chilling. It's been fine. As we take a look here at oil, Brent crude oil from UK at 85. This thing topped out in 2022. That was basically the peak of supply chain crisis, mayhem, and disruption. And so that brought us up all the way up to about $140 per barrel. But if you recall, oil went negative. Remember, my mentor, Dan Pena, that crazy old man, he made, his billions of dollars in the oil business, and oil and energy. And he was one of the few guys that actually predicted negative oil. I think he was the only guy that predicted negative oil. And it's, you ask, how can oil even go negative, right? How is that even possible? Well, it did. And it went all the way down here, and it's showing you 15 really. But if, this is the UK Brent oil, but this was the time during March of 2020 in April where the whole world shut down, right? And oil went to negative prices for a brief moment in time. Truly crazy to see. But now we see, your UK oil at 85. We see silver ticking back up to 23 bucks, ready to break out above this $28, 29. Basically, we tipped out at 30 bucks in 2020 and 2021. We got back up to 30 bucks for silver. This one's going to be interesting to watch because traditionally, if we close that ratio that we historically hold with gold, we go to $50 and beyond with ease. Historical move incoming for gold. This one's so clear to see, a triple tap off of this new all-time high resistance that we've set at about 2,100. And as we covered in the last show, what happened this last week is that gold went back up above 2,000 and it caught up to the China market, to the Shanghai Futures Exchange, the Chinese market. And that was really interesting to see because it shows you that the Chinese market is really driving the price now worldwide. It's a better reflection of true price. And when you compare gold to the other 6 major currencies where it's trading against them at all-time highs as well, you get a little bit more perspective that gold is really ready to break out into a historical move that we haven't seen yet. Never have seen this before. Now, we have seen gold perform in inflationary decades like the 70s, chaotic decades like the 2000s, where it did, 1,000 and 2,000%. If we do that from this level, you're literally talking, if we do another, even just 1,000%, even just another 10x, you'd be at 20K gold. And that's pretty crazy. I know some guys that think 50K gold, but even if we just got up to, as Rick Rule said in the video yesterday, he doesn't buy gold because he wants to go to 2,100. He buys gold because he's scared that it's going to go to 6,000 to 8,000. So even if we just go to where Rick Rule's talking about, $5,000, $6,000, to $10,000 per ounce, complete disruption. And we're about to go through a historical decade as far as a reset and a revaluation of all assets, commodities, and value worldwide against fiat currencies that are going to go through a period of hyperinflation. Most likely will have to be reset. And I'm going to be talking about that at the end of this episode here. Now, I wanted to show you guys a couple more charts before we move on. We're taking a look here at NVIDIA. You could recall that it topped out at $500 back in the earlier part of this year. It has since cooled off into correction territory. It cooled all the way off sub $400 NVIDIA earlier this week, but then it basically started off the week sub 400, and this last week was the best week, one of the best weeks for NVIDIA and for the S&P 500. Take a look at that S&P 500. Speaking of God candles, right? Relatively speaking, with your stock market, that's a major move in just 1 week. In fact, it's the best week that the S&P 500 has had all year. Now, your Dow Jones Industrial also pumping in a major way, back above 34,000 for your overall Dow Jones, and then your overall total cryptocurrency market cap back above 1.3 trillion this week, just showing incredible strength for the cryptocurrencies and the alternatives, right? You're talking commodities and you're talking cryptocurrencies, with XRP doing something here today to kind of steal the show. Once again, back to XRP. Let's take a look at this thing a little bit more zoomed in and see where we're at right now on an XRP price chart, a 4-hour chart. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, guys. I appreciate everyone so much for stopping by. I see we already got 600 in the chat. We're just getting started, guys, and we're talking about settlement, SWELL, and XRP stealing the show once again, just like it always does. This is why this coin's not a joke. They've been making fun of us. They've been saying that we're the dumbasses holding our XRP. We're stupid for calling it a reserve currency. That's fine. It's not a reserve currency, but be prepared for every everyone's faces to be absolutely melted when this coin steals the show once again, and as Brad Garlinghouse starts the worldwide roadshow where Ripple becomes the darling fintech company of the entire world. And it actually might show up as a lender of last resort during the financial crisis that we now find ourselves in. Not just the cryptocurrency crisis, but when you talk about the potential here for institutions who have terrible balance sheets, by the way, terrible balance sheets, when you give a institution the opportunity to buy XRP on the cheap, to buy options of XRP, billions of XRP if they wanted, at these sub 50-cent prices before this thing gets ready to, revalue at post reset, wherever that price may be, $5 to $5.89, I'm here for the ride and I'm here to find out. It's going to be an incredible time here as XRP's the only digital asset in the United States with full legal clarity. Bitcoin doesn't have it and Ethereum doesn't have it. Let's be very clear about that. XRP is the only digital asset in the United States with legal clarity as not being a security. Right. Now, call it a commodity, call it a virtual currency like FinCEN did, call it whatever you want. Oh yeah, by the way, if you didn't know, Ripple already settled with the FinCEN back in 2015, where XRP was deemed a virtual currency, not a security. So when the United States government already deemed XRP a virtual currency in 2015, and then the SEC does some staged lawsuit on a Jay Clayton walkout last day, I've never been too worried because I knew that the facts and the circumstances were on our side, especially for the secondary market. We understood that the secondary holders had the strongest case that the XRP we're using on a daily basis was not a security. And sure enough, we've been vindicated on all points, and the SEC has had to retreat in surrender, in embarrassment, and in shame. Now, Gary Gensler has no shame, and that's why he's showing up at DC Fintech Week with none other than Brad Garlinghouse. That's right. They're both going to be keynoting DC Fintech Week, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit more insight on that towards the end of this show. Let's get through our current events and our cryptocurrencies. And as I was going to share with you guys here real quick, your 4-hour chart on XRP, this pump, absolutely massive. Absolutely love to see it for XRP back above 68 cents. This thing already back up to 68777. How about that? How about that for a decode? Someone should probably break that down. 68777. Sure enough. Let's get it rocking and rolling, folks. Jerome Powell says that, we don't need to raise interest rates any further right now, right? They decide to give us another pause. And this is why we had such a great rally for the stock market this week. Everybody's calling the Fed pivot, everybody's calling the Fed bluff, and everybody thinks that the Fed is going to start to cut interest rates sooner and that they're not going to raise one more time. They've had 2 opportunities, the last 2 meetings, and they have given us 2 pauses. Okay. Now, Jerome Powell says, quote, "This has been a resilient economy, and I think it's been surprising in its resilience. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. You guys have no idea how big of a problem you created by injecting as much liquidity into the system as you did, and through all of the different various PPP programs, all the different forms of liquidity injection that made it into the system on a retail level, on a household level like PPP, all the way up to all the back end reverse repo markets that have reached all-time high and have continued to climb over the last few years. Then when this year we saw the full complete banking backstop, if you're systemically important enough to Janet Notel and Yellen, she'll save you. If you're small, little bank in Kentucky, she doesn't care if you get killed, and she doesn't care if the people in your little small town bank get killed either. That's not a problem. But the systemically important banks, they're good to go. And you have to understand that that was a signal that yes, we are here, we are ready, and we will completely backstop and paper over this thing. That's why our economy has been remaining resilient, is because there's been so much liquidity poured into this system that has still been trickling its way down, still moving into the system. And we see also with the supply chain crisis as well, this has pushed up the cost of production and the cost of goods and the same services that we've been buying for the last few years. We're buying the same goods and services. The prices on them have gone up, but what it results in is it results in a higher GDP number. See, and that's the thing, is that we just got a 4.9% GDP read. This is why they're talking about a resilient economy. But on Main Street, nobody is feeling resilient right now unless you've been tapped in with our community maybe, and you've been taking massive action. You've been starting your side hustle, your business, and investing in digital assets, stacking up your prepping essentials and precious metals. Maybe you went and got some cash out of the bank before the banking crisis continues, and before the banking system problems that we had over the weekend. I'm seeing today that there's still transactions and stuff not going through, and folks are freaking out, right? And so this is why we've been tapped in. We cut through and we decode the data that they're giving us, that is a complete fabricated lie to set you up and to wipe you out and to get you on the wrong side of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. It is not by accident that 50% of the middle class just gets killed. If you want me to I'll finish on that point. The middle class gets killed because they're getting set up by Jerome Powell, who's, surprised by this resilient economy. They just don't know how big of a beast they created because they injected a third of our currency supply into the system over the last few years. Now, I thought it would be a little bit funny to share this one. This is about Big Mac tokens as a hedge against inflation. And this is a stupid example, but this is the reality here. This is a great example of the inflation that we're actually seeing. I mean, go buy yourself a Happy Meal. I work at McDonald's, and we have these little cards that we give to customers when we mess up their order that lets them redeem the card for a free Big Mac. Just recently, we received a box of these special coins. They are going to serve the same purpose. If you have one of the coins, you can exchange it for a Big Mac. If it's for the 50th anniversary of the Big Mac. Now, I'm far from an economics expert, so this may just be a stupid question, but since our money has no value anymore, since it was taken off the gold standard, whereas these coins from McDonald's are backed by Big Macs, does that make them more stable currency than our own money? And the answer is absolutely yes, it does. The only thing that you're up against is the shrinkflation. It'd be interesting to compare the size of a Big Mac from 50 years ago. I'm sure 50 years ago it was pretty small still, but it would be interesting to compare the size of a Big Mac from maybe like 5-10 years ago, because I don't know about you, it's pretty clear to see the shrinkflation that we've got. So although your Big Mac token is still getting you a Big Mac, the shrinkflation, those patties have gotten a little smaller. Now they just give you one little squirt of whatever the Big Mac sauce is, I guess. I haven't had a Big Mac in a while. But I mean, take the family out to McDonald's, take them out anywhere. It's unbelievable. And this is a great example of real value. A Big Mac is real value. Our US dollar is not real value. It's a lie that, is a representation of a dollar. But what a dollar gets you now is nothing compared to what it got you just 3 years ago, let alone 10 years ago, let alone the value of our dollar has lost 99% of its value in the last 100 years since the inception of the Federal Reserve. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? Now, if you want to know where we're at in the timeline, we're about to be hitting the circuit breakers off, just like what happened with XRP when it shut down every single exchange it was trading on. You're about to see them hit the circuit breakers when this thing starts to really break. And if you think I'm just pulling this out of where, well, it's already happening right now in South Korea. Check this one out, folks. South Korea will ban short selling shares until June to ensure a level playing field. Are you kidding me? Where have we heard that term before? A level playing field. We need to ban short sellers so that we can ensure a level playing field. Yeah, okay. Absolutely wild. Financial markets are being manipulated all over the world right now. You know what actually needs a level playing field? The international monetary system. And you do that with gold. And I'm going to be talking about it later in the show. You also do it with some XRP. Finance Lot shares this. Once the SEC initiates a ban on short selling, the 2008 redux will be complete. And I'm going to play this little clip here. I didn't realize this, but back in 2008, they actually banned short selling. The SEC did. And then the market absolutely tanked after that. That was basically the beginning. That marked the absolute destruction that was coming thereafter. Take a listen at this, folks. This is pretty incredible.
like 2008, right? When the SEC came out in September 2008 and they banned short selling to protect banks and financial institutions. And that was the beginning of the crash right there and then. SEC bans shorting, stock market crashes. You know why? Number one, if you're going to ban shorting, you're going to shake out the confidence in the stock market entirely, in these bank stocks altogether, because the holders are going to say, wait a minute here. Why are they banning shorting right now? Is there something to hide? Number two, a lot of these rallies, a lot of this dip buying is happening by shorts covering. You see, when you short a stock, you borrow whatever shares of whatever stock you're shorting at a certain price. You believe that in time, the share price of this stock that you're borrowing right now will be a lot lower. So you borrow now at the current market price and you sell these shares, and in time the stock goes down, gets cut in half, for example, then you buy it back and you give it back to the lender, the broker, the bank, whatever, and you pocket the difference. So you sell and then you buy later at a lower price, and the stock market holds because of this practice. The shorts sell, then they have to buy back. But if you ban the shorts, then it becomes a one-way street. If there's panic in the stock market and the mom and pops, the institutionals are selling, well, who's buying if the shorts are not buying back? We see a crash. In other words, you want to ensure a crash in the stock market? Please go ahead and ban short selling.
And that's exactly what they did back in 2008. During the great financial crisis, is the SEC came in, they banned short selling, everybody gets a participation trophy, and what does it equal? It equals everyone gets killed. That's where we're at right now. And I'm waiting for more volatility coming in this week. This week is going to be absolutely massive, okay? Now, when we look at the real estate market right now, we can see that the crash is already here in real estate. Depending on your market, depending on the type of real estate, it's worse than others, but a correction and a reset is already well underway. We see the median home price in the US is now down almost 6% from the peak. Meanwhile, inventory is still about 40% lower than the long-term average, all while mortgage demand hits its lowest levels since 1994 this week. What does this mean? Higher prices have been almost entirely due to one factor, a major lack of supply. But the Fed has stated multiple times that higher unemployment is needed to fight inflation. If unemployment spikes, we should see foreclosures quickly follow. What happens when housing supply finally returns? This is what's so interesting about real estate. You have to break it down market by market and the segment of real estate. Some markets are about to be flooded with new construction, and they have negative population, negative migration. And this is the hollowing out of some of our inner cities right now, as we're seeing commercial real estate in the cities get absolutely slaughtered and sacrificed. I mean, we're not talking about down 6%. We're talking about down 60%. Okay. And so this is where we're going to have to be watching this. I mean, talk about shorting the market, which it's so ridiculous. Shorting a market is a fine way to balance against a market, right? It's a fine bet to make. It's an absolute fair, just, and healthy market tool to get a fair market value, right? Now, it's one thing when you got all these naked shorts and all this type of manipulation trading, right? That's different from someone going to an exchange and actually buying going short on a stock. There's a real way to do that and facilitate that transaction where it's not rigged or manipulated, right? It's actually backed by a trade. What we're seeing now is this thing's got way out of whack. They're getting ready to cut that circuit breaker off if we get any, too much more pain here. But the problem is the Fed, we don't know what to get from them. As they've been pandering back and forth, they've been flip-flopping. One thing that they have done, though, for sure, is they've rug pulled the Main Street U.S. economy and the real estate market. Now, it's just a matter of how much pain is going to be brought to your real estate market and your real estate segment. As I just showed you guys, we're already about down 6% median home price level across the United States, depending on where you look at, right? Some markets are already down 10-20% for residential single-family homes. And the new construction, they're the ones that are really moving the market still, as they're doing a bunch of incentives. And you can look right now in cities that are flooded with new construction, There's so many incentives that the builders are offering. And then when it comes to rentals, I'm starting to see it in my market too. Half month off rent, 1 month off rent. I saw somebody reporting in Florida, 3 months off rent. I mean, guys, we're back to that stage in the cycle in some cities. It depends where you're at. If you're in Main Street, Kentucky, you're probably doing just fine, right? But this is very, very interesting to watch right now. This is why I'm starting to put out the tactical wealth lessons. I started out, today's episode is with trust. That's going to be the first tactical wealth lesson, but I'm going to be dropping a lot on this as I've been expanding my content out into wealth protection, preservation. We've been talking about real estate. We'll be talking more about real estate. Because it is very important that we understand after we get the XRP God candle, the reason why we're all here, right, is for the XRP moonshot. What the heck are we going to do after? Because it's coming, and we're about to roll on into the crypto part of this show, folks. If you haven't already, please make sure that you smash that thumbs up. And if you can, please share this out far and wide and let everyone know that we got a Sunday session going on right now, and it's an absolute party. And I'm going to show you guys this cryptocurrency update is absolutely massive. Let's get this party started. So this is Patrick Byrne, and he says, keep an eye on this story. You will see that it intersects with mine. Ethereum insider drops bombshell. ETH founders fraud bigger than FTX fraud. Now, when we have Sam Bankman-Fried hitting the mainstream, all eyes are on Sam Bankman-Fried, and he's basically making a joke out of the rest of the cryptocurrency space, making us look bad right now, right? When you have headlines that are running with ETH founders fraud bigger than FTX fraud, we've been covering it too. It's now being reported by Bloomberg and others that Joseph Lubin shorted out some of his early investors out of consensus, out of stock shares. Typical, right? These slimy guys like Joseph Lubin, right? That, you know, you never get a straight he's just not a straight shooter. He's, itching his elbow as he's giving you another lie. As he's, squirming around in his chair, just like Gary Gensler squirms around in his suit. It's the same thing with all these guys. And now we've won. Remember, we've won. XRP in and of itself is not a security. Interlocutory appeal denied. Sit down, SEC. That's what Judge Torres told them. Sit down and get back in your place. You regulate securities. This is different. And I gave you guys a victory in the institutional sales. Those constitute an investment contract. That's your role, SEC. Your role is not the secondary market sales of an asset, never has been in 80 plus years of case law, that how he's been in existence. Never has the secondary sales of an asset made a never has the underlying asset ever been a security. So now we're seeing the headlines hit, and Patrick Byrne, he's been very, very vocal as of late over the last few years. And we've seen Patrick, he now is an advocate for constitutional republicanism for government, advocates constitutional republicanism for government, blockchain for institutions, and educational choice for human capital. That's what is in his bio right now. And he's been over the target. He's been over the target on a lot of stuff. You guys know I don't do left, right? But this Ethereum story that's breaking, and we've been covering it for years, right? This is nothing new for us. But on the back of actually winning in the courtroom, finally, we've won in the courtroom. Now we're exposing this, and we have the whistleblower. May God protect him, Steven Narioff, who's what this article is written about, right? Patrick Byrne says, keep an eye on this story. You will see that it intersects with mine. And sure enough, Steven Narioff comments down below, I can confirm this is true. It's surreal, except we have proof. We have proof, we have the documents, and we are beginning to win. And now you're starting to see it too. The truth is coming out from these institutions that have been starting to use XRP. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this article right here. This is from the Crypto Basic. Kuwait Finance House calls Ripple a world-class firm amid partnership for instant cross-border service. This was just put out here today. KFH executive Al Agil has described Ripple as an outstanding company amid the Ripple partnership for instant cross-border payments. This is what we have going on with companies that are starting to use XRP. Remember, I covered earlier this week that Palau, according to the IMF, Palau is the third fastest growing economy in the world. Is it a coincidence that they're partnered up with Ripple? Let me know in the comments down below. Is it a coincidence that Palau, who's partnered up with Ripple, has the third fastest growing economy in the world, according to the IMF? It is not. And it's because they've been leaning into technology. They've been doing drone service for their islands because Palau is a series of all these islands. If you missed the interview I did with Jay Anson, go check that out for sure. That's a must watch. He's a government employee for the Ministry of Finance for Palau. And we had him on the show. He's in the interview playlist on my channel if you missed it. Jay Hunter Anson. And he shared with us how there are a series of islands. Most of it's all done with cash, US dollars. And what Palau did was they did a US dollar-backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger main net. Not private ledger for CBDC, just like we got announced last week. Oh, by the way, did you miss that one? The sixth CBDC on the XRP ledger, that's going to be National Bank of Georgia. Okay, that's number 6 that has announced it. We have 4 more that are unannounced, and we have conversations ongoing with 20 additional central banks and governments. And then when we listen in on firms that are working with Ripple, what are they saying? They're saying right here that they're a world-class firm, right? And they're going to use them for a competitive advantage. Now, we got this clip right here from Flip the Chain. Uphold CEO Simon McLaughlin. We also had Simon on the show, if you missed that one. That's another classic interview. I am so bullish on their platform, Uphold, and I'm so thankful for Simon. I was so glad that I got the chance to personally thank Simon for letting me absolutely stuff my bags with XRP during the lawsuit. God bless these guys. Golly. As regulatory clarity is coming in places like Europe, UK, Singapore, Dubai, greater institution adoption is coming. Several banks in traditional finance world have approached us for our services. This is what's happening with Uphold. This is the same thing that's happening with Ripple. And just so happens that they just announced the partnership as well, right? Ripple's going to be tapping into Uphold for their world-class liquidity. They're tapping into over 30 plus exchanges. And as I talked about with Simon McLaughlin, they also, already purchased a broker dealer for offering securities. That's your traditional equity stocks. It's just not in the US offering yet, but it will be offered to the US here soon, just like the 4% cashback, rewards card that they had. I think they have it in the UK still. That's all coming. Staking, the whole 9 yards, the ability to go into the AMM, I guarantee you Uphold is going to give you that button. And you're just going to have to hit one button. Earn 5% yield on your XRP. Boom. You're in the AMM liquidity pool firing it up. And shoot, Ripple can now tap into that liquidity that Uphold's going to be part of facilitating. This is why I'm so bullish on their platform. Let's listen in on Simon McLaughlin. He's talking about several banks and traditional finance people already approaching him for his services.
That's of course is there's a slightly different point, which is as regulation is now finally becoming clearer in the UK, Europe in particular, in places like Singapore and Dubai, as the regs become clearer, you're going to get greater enterprise adoption. You're also going to get greater adoption from the traditional finance world. So we've now been approached by several banks who are interested in white labeling our service. Again, they don't want our wallet. They don't want their customers have to go through KYC twice, but they do want to plug in and access certain of our core services. That's of course is.
That's what this is. They want to white label their technology, their API, so that they can offer it for their clients. It's so simple. They don't want to use Uphold's wallet. They don't want to use anything else. This is where the technology, this is a new world, and the offerings that Uphold is bringing right down to the table. You'll be able to hold your equities, your stocks, right alongside your precious metals, right alongside your crypto, and you'll be able to tap into some of the best liquidity in the world because they're already helping Ripple build out liquidity. They're already tapped in with 30 plus exchanges. They already own a broker dealer. They've already been approved by FINRA. Do you want me to keep going? This company's on it. Okay. And they're just like Ripple, and they just partnered up, and now we get AMMs coming to the XRP ledger. This is going to be DeFi on the XRP ledger. So not only will you be getting cash back when you swipe your Uphold card, you'll be getting, cash back and or XRP back, whatever you want, right? Not only that, you will also have the ability to just hit that button, earn 5% on your XRP when you stake your XRP in the XRP USDT liquidity pool. Earn 4% on your XRP when you stake it in the XRP BTC liquidity pool, whatever it may be, right? And so this is the type of liquidity that's going to be built out with Uphold, Ripple, and then we're watching right now the AMM amendment has been growing. I need to check the tally. I know we were already over 11 yes votes on the AMM amendment last week. I don't know where we're at right now, but I'm gonna have to take a look at this. And I do see you, XR Peaky Blinder. I hope I didn't miss any other super chats. We almost had 1,000 in the chat earlier. I think we did. XR Peaky Blinder dropped a 5 spot, and I probably almost missed it. XR Peaky Blinder, I appreciate you, brother. What's this XRP thing I keep hearing about? Happy Sunday, my friends. God bless you, brother. And I really apologize if I missed any other super chats. You guys are always amazing with the love and the support. And if you can, all I ask is that you smash that thumbs up as well. And I still have a couple more posts to share with you guys. Check it out. This is what I just tweeted out here tonight before firing up this live here tonight. This is Judy Shelton, and she is in the gold room. In the gold room at the Mount Washington Hotel, where the Bretton Woods Agreement for a gold-anchored international monetary system based on U.S. dollar convertibility was hammered out in July of 1944. So in this room, the gold room in 1944, right, when we were working out after that World War II, this is when we came to that new Bretton Woods Agreement, a gold-anchored international monetary system. So I responded, I retweet, and I said, I put my own twist on it. Are you ready for a gold-anchored international monetary system? We will be going back to that settles on the XRP ledger, getting hammered out in 2024. Will all of our deals be done in 2024, the year of X? It's going to be an interesting one, and this is why I'm so excited. This week is going to be massive, okay? I think that right now, we're in the middle of a pump. This is fun. Will it last? I don't know. But by next year, we begin the bull run for sure. And we are also going to see them start to roll out the new international monetary system, as BRICS has already shown us. There's a return to gold. There's an interest in gold, and there's an interest in backing economies by real commodities represented through DLT technology. This is where you get to tokenize every single commodity on the planet, and you actually start to build out that level playing field. So we talk about, South Korea is going to ban short selling for a level playing field. We don't need to do that. We need to go to this is key, not a gold backed. We don't go to gold backed. We go to gold anchored international monetary system. And why don't we settle on the XRP ledger in 3 to 5 seconds at no cost with no counterparty risk, and you're moving a neutral bridge currency? What's not to love about that? With AMMs already got NFTs and additional utilities on the way, let's fire up your liquidity, and we can represent and back that gold anchored international monetary system that we once had. Let's go back to it. And, how about this too? Expanding out further than gold, as I've been saying, let's go to a commodity anchored international monetary system. I'm going to have to retweet it. Darn it. I'm going to have to check it again. Let's go to a commodity anchored international monetary system that settles on the XRP ledger, and it might just so happen to be getting hammered out right now and through next year. And the great unveiling of what XRP really is already taking place. That is why I titled this episode Settlement, Swell, and XRP God Candle. Let's get into it. What we're looking at right now is a historical week that is coming up. We have November 6th through the 9th, just so happens to be DC Fintech Week. That is going to be starting tomorrow, November 6th. Did you know that we are the regulatory co-host for the 2023 DC Fintech Week on the 6th through the 9th? This is the Bank for International Settlements. I retweeted them earlier today, and I said, I thought that I spammed my content. These guys have retweeted this out every single day about 3 times. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but the BIS has literally retweeted this out like 2 to 3 times per day for the last few days. Apparently, they want us to know that they are co-hosting the regulatory co-host for the 2023 DC Fintech Week. And as we covered, who is speaking? The biggest hitters in the world of basically regulatory compliance and finance. Treasury Department being represented by Nellie Yang, as we showed you guys. That's U.S. Treasury Department being represented by Nellie Yang, Brad Garlinghouse, our good friend, Michael Sonnenschein from Grayscale, Sheila Warren, CEO of Crypto Council for Innovation, with our good buddy Gary Gensler. Gary Good Guy Gensler, also known as Gary Goldman Gensler. Michael Barr, former board of advisor at Ripple, now vice chair of supervision, Federal Reserve, in charge of monitoring the banking crisis this year. Oh no, you don't say. Our friend, I guess we'll call him that, Michael Novogratz, CEO of Galaxy Investment Partners, one of the early Ethereum ICO investors, you don't say. With Jessica Rusu, who is the Chief Data Information Intelligence Officer at the Financial Conduct Authority. Now, why is this so interesting? How is this possible? Is all the world a stage? You bet it is. Absolutely 100% this is all a stage. Brad Garlinghouse is going to be taking the stage with Gary Gensler. Now, I don't think that they're taking it at the same time, but you see that they're going to be both keynote speakers at this DC Fintech Week. How does Gary Gensler even show up and take himself serious after he just had to surrender the charges against Brad Garlinghouse? And after they just received another loss in the Grayscale case, after they just received another loss in that other case that basically proved that the SEC can't levy fines against the company unless they can prove an investor was actually harmed. You saw Stuart Alderati share that out. You saw John Deaton share that out. Basically, that's going to apply to the Ripple case because no investor got hurt because all the institutional investors that bought XRP from Ripple, all those sales that constituted an investment contract security, all those investors have made a bunch of money. None of them have been harmed at all. They all got in super early. Remember, R3 tried to get 5 billion XRP at sub 1 penny. We think that we were early. R3 was trying to get 5 billion sub 1 penny, 3-year options contract. How about that deal? That was the deal of the century, literally. That I'm going to start calling that the deal of the century. Now, it fell apart. For those of you who don't know, it did fall apart. But nonetheless, I mean, they were moving to get it. Now, let's get back on topic. I digress. Brad Garlinghouse, Gary Gensler taking stage at DC Fintech Week this week. Now, what's so interesting is that we've gotten quite a few of the rulings coming out on a Thursday, which is November 9th, which reverse numerology would be your 9/11. Interesting. We'll be watching that date closely. We'll be watching this week closely because it's going to be a massive week. It's going to be a very volatile week. And how does Gary Gensler even show up with any sort of respect or dignity after he literally just had to surrender the charges against Brad Garlinghouse and Brad's getting ready to take stage? And Brad Garlinghouse is going on the roadshow right now talking about how messed up the United States is because of the SEC, talking about dressing up as Bill Hinman for Halloween. Now, Brad Garlinghouse feels a little bit more comfortable now because we've had complete victories. The only loss that they had was on the institutional sales. But as I just said, from that other case, there's really not much that the SEC is going to be able to collect because the court ruling that we got in the other case, really, you have to show that investors were harmed. The SEC can't just levy a fine against Ripple because, oh, you sold some XRP. It was an investment contract. And you didn't register. Well, okay, you didn't register, but that doesn't mean that you get to, take in $700 million, which is what they're trying to get. They're trying to get $770 million. That's how big the institutional sales were. But what's so interesting right now, guys, is that we're running up towards SWELL. what Brad Garlinghouse does here is incredible. He goes and he takes over DC once again, which, you know, I've already had that video. Ripple takes over DC. We did that about a month or so ago, right? Well, now we see Ripple's about to take over DC once again, Brad Garlinghouse. And then after that, they're going to SWELL. And all I know is that right now is a perfect time to announce some sort of settlement. Some sort of settlement, and Gary Gensler needs a settlement to save face. This would be handing the SEC, you know, a sundae with the cherry on top, because the SEC doesn't deserve to really win on any point, even in the SEC versus Ripple case, even for those institutional sales. If Ripple actually fought those, I think that they could actually win on appeal. They really don't deserve anything because no investors were harmed either. And those institutional sales were to accredited investors and institutions that's what they do. Who was getting harmed? You're supposed to be protecting Joe Blow retail. Joe Blow retail, who you say is too stupid to invest in pre-IPO companies. And if you had it your way, Gary, you would have to have $10 million net worth to be invested in private equity. That's a load of hot you-know-what. And that's why I'm so glad that Judge Torres told the SEC to stand the hell down and get back in your place, Gary, squirming around in your little suit. And Brad's about to take over this stage. I mean, think about the position that Ripple is in. With XRP pump, guys, XRP is pumping as Brad Garlinghouse is taking stage. Now, maybe it's going to start dumping tomorrow. Maybe we're getting set up. I've been talking about the setup for crypto, the bull trap. So maybe we are getting set up. But right now, we're watching. XRP is pumping all the way into Brad Garlinghouse taking the stage for DC Fintech Week. And then after that, we, hop on the PJ. You know, Brad, he ain't flying commercial. They got a nice little... I'm surprised that Ripple doesn't own a jet by now. We probably should, because this company's worldwide. We're setting up an institutional hub in Dubai, and we just got regulatory clarity, the full and complete green light for XRP in Dubai last week. That was the Dubai Financial Center, right? And they're part of a group that regulates over 72 countries within the Middle East and North Africa. Folks, this is the Ripple Roadshow. It's going live. XRP is about to break through. Do we get a settlement this week? I don't know. I thought we were going to get a settlement in September. I thought we were going to get a settlement 2 years ago. The vibe is right. That's all I'm going to say. The vibe is right. Right? Okay? We've been waiting for a settlement for a long time. But I think that everything is aligned, right? We're watching XRP pump. This thing's back up to 68 cents. Brad's about to take stage, take over DC, and then they go to Dubai. That's massive. They've fired up on-demand liquidity already in that region with the United Arab Emirates. The UAE is already one of 5 nations within BRICS that have already fired up ODL. This is what many folks didn't understand. When I said that BRICS loves XRP, I meant that 5 countries within BRICS have already gone live with ODL, and I literally showed connections with every other BRICS nations besides Iran, and there was one other country. I forget which one it was. Iran and one other small country that, hadn't really shown any interest in XRP yet. I'm sure there's a few XRP holders in Iran. I'm sure. I hope some of the people of that country do. I hope that people worldwide are picking up this, neutral bridge currency at a time when that's exactly what the world needs. Now, what's so fascinating is that we've seen XRP pump up into SWELL conferences in the past. So this is nothing new. And we have to remain careful because we've been here before. We've seen XRP pump leading up into SWELL. This is nothing new, right? But for me, this opportunity is bigger than a little bit of an XRP pump up to 70 cents. This is where we start to surpass Ethereum's market cap. This is where we could overtake Bitcoin. Now, I know that's crazy talk, right? XRP overtaking Bitcoin. You guys are thinking, well, Zach, you've had one too many adult beverages. It's time to go to bed. Let's see what happens here. Now, whether or not we do that this bull run, whether or not we do it next bull run, whether we ever do that, the point stands. The XRP doesn't need to eat up too much liquidity to really move in price to an incredible spot where you will have changed your life. Then what do we do next? When XRP goes to $5, when XRP goes to 589, somewhere in between, we get to find out. It's going to be a really fun journey until we get the volatility and the violent dumps that are going to follow the pumps that are coming. That's what we need to be ready for. Today, this morning, I dropped a session, Ripple pre-IPO versus XRP. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you guys think of that? Ripple pre-IPO versus XRP. I mean, the long and the short of it is both. I'm interested in both. Full transparency, I don't own any Ripple equity right now, but I do own just a few XRP. Like, I think I have like a wallet or something, one or two. But when it comes to Ripple pre-IPO versus XRP, it's two different parts of our portfolios. It's two completely different investment opportunities. One is a reserve currency of the new financial system. One is equity in a company that's set to be the darling of not just Wall Street, but a worldwide, global, world-class company, as that Kuwait company just said earlier in the episode I just showed you guys. The Kuwait, what company was that? Kuwait Finance House. Never heard of this before, but they call XRP... they call Ripple a world-class firm. And Ripple's about to take over Dubai. There is so much money ready to pour into, on the institutional level, ready to pour into this asset class. What they're seeking is legal clarity and the certainty that what they're creating is not going to get them in trouble. And then they want additional capabilities. And you're talking about tokenization, and you're talking about stablecoin interoperability too. This is where on the XRP ledger, I think we're going to be building out the best liquidity, is because that AMM is going to function so smoothly, so efficiently, that it's going to squeeze that margin between currency pairs. XRP USDT, XRP Bitcoin. That is going to be where the tightest spread, the tightest margin is created. And then as it really gets sustainable, more and more liquidity gets put into that. And then so then it just even stabilizes that, further on. And that's what we're watching right now on the XRP ledger. Is we've been late to the game with AMMs. We've been late to the game with NFTs. But when we do it right. And we don't break mainnet ledger. This is why I'm excited about the Zahao sidechain. I'm more excited about the EVM sidechain that still settles in XRP. XRP Blinder said, "You do a hell of a job, brother Z. Maybe he was born with it. Maybe it's XR Paybaline." That's a good one, brother. XRP, appreciate you, brother. Lee Colify, I apologize for probably butchering that, but I really do appreciate the 10 spot, my friend. Hey, Zach, Jesus coin, God candles. So wanted to show some love. God bless. I can't believe they did the Jesus. I won't invest in anything like that. That's blasphemy. That's blasphemy. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much, guys. Let's keep it rocking and rolling, though. As I was saying, right now, legal clarity with additional utility, when you compare that against every other coin in the space, really, right now, we don't know what the SEC is going to do with Ethereum. Probably give them a pass. Probably going to give Bitcoin a pass. Sure. Okay. But they're going to be going after all of the layer 2s where the AMMs were built at. Let me explain this real quick, why this is so important, guys, with the AMM. Every other AMM is basically built a layer 2 on top of Ethereum. Avalanche, Polygon, a Polygon is a layer 2. They're all layer 2s. It's all part of the great Ethereum game, right? There's a few others, but essentially, all the other AMMs are on layer 2s. The problem with all of these layer 2s is that a lot of them are going to find themselves in trouble because they did ICOs. They did do deals that are going to run them into trouble with the SEC. And the problem with their AMMs is that they're, all that's been available, that's been great. They've ran up a little bit. But what we're seeing right now is that the programs that were really touted and that really brought the most attention already went bust. And what's left is stuff that's not even really yielding you that much of a return. What gets interesting with XRP, I believe, is that you have a currency that is going to be stabilized at a much higher price. I did the episode last night, XRP to $100, and we talked about whether or not that was possible. But whether or not XRP stabilizes at $100, at $589, or even at a $20 price, it's really going to be stabilized within the liquidity pools as well. And we're seeing institutional money coming in this bull run that's going to take us to probably a 10 trillion overall cryptocurrency market cap, right? XRP is ready and slated to get a significant amount of that. But I also explained how XRP, with the liquidity value, we cannot just apply the market cap calculations to it when trying to determine the future valuation of XRP. That would be a flawed way of doing a valuation on an asset that's main utility is liquidity, because its liquidity value is a separate equation from the market cap. That is a method and a data point for traditional equities, commodities, and it gives you an idea or a glimpse, but it is a fake fallacy because, just as I mentioned, when the overall cryptocurrency of the space, the overall market cap of the cryptocurrency space went to 3 trillion, there was not actually $3 trillion there. As we found out when folks, started to sell and this bear market continued on and the market cap went all the way sub 1 trillion. There actually never was 3 trillion there. Now, could you have taken a snapshot there? Could you have frozen it there for a glimpse, a moment in time where, okay, we think there's 3 trillion there? Yeah, you can. That's what market cap is. Try to go sell and try to go turn that 3 trillion market cap into 3 trillion of US dollars. You won't be able to. And that's why we get confused with market cap calculations. As far as XRP, I am so excited for just breaking out and being set free from the chains that have been on this asset, from the cloud that's been hanging over this asset, from the damages that have been done to our community. We get to finally heal. On top of that, you are seeing these are major announcements that are coming out. The National Bank of Georgia last week. Think about this, guys. Most of these crypto projects can't get anybody that matters to even pick up the phone. I'm talking about someone from that cryptocurrency company picking up the phone, trying to make a connection, trying to make a partnership, trying to get a deal done. They can't even get through the receptionist. Oh, I'm from so-and-so project, and I was looking to talk to... Ding. Nice try, little crypto bro. When you look at this company, Ripple, they come from the institutions, the banks, the governments, the treasury. This is a different ballgame. And this company is been able to defeat the SEC. Meanwhile, the rest of the crypto space has basically tucked their tail between their legs, turned around and ran away from the SEC. They've done a little settlement. Okay, we'll shut down our staking. Oh, we'll shut down our staking and pay a fine. We'll, run away and hide, and we'll never do any deals again. That's what most of them have done. And we should be so thankful that Ripple stepped up, cut a check for $200 million to fight this case on behalf of the entire XRP community, the broader crypto community, and the broader, basically the broader, for America's fight against the bureaucracy beast that we're up against. That's what this is. What's important right now is you're starting to see, as Judy Shelton said in 1944, when they hammered out the agreement to come to the Bretton Woods, the new gold-anchored international monetary system that was birthed in 1944. Right now, we're about to see the birthing of the new financial system, and it's happening at these conversations right here with the BIS, with the Department of Treasury, with Brad Garlinghouse. As I said, you got Grayscale that did show up. How does Gary Gensler take stage when he just had to surrender against Brad? He just lost the case against Grayscale, and we're still wondering why the heck they haven't approved the Grayscale case, right? They already have a fund with Ethereum in it, and they're just trying to move it to a spot ETF fund. Why have they not approved it yet, right? But on top of that, this is a worldwide movement because you have the Financial Conduct Authority here, and this is the British version of the SEC. So basically the Great Britain's version of their SEC. That is the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. The good news for countries like the UK and others is they've been at the leading edge of regulations. The FCA should be setting the example for the SEC. When Gary Gensler wants to, run around being Gary Gensler, the good guy, talking about us having the gold standard of capital markets. How do we have the gold standard of capital markets when you've been late to giving us any sort of, understanding or clarity on digital assets other than you were going to give your buddies at, here's one of your buddies right here, Mike Novogratz, early Ethereum ICO investor, right? Joked about how early he got in on Ethereum. Was that an investment contract offering? You bet it was. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is what we're watching unfold though right now, is you see that the same advisors, understand this, the supervisor of the Federal Reserve, the manager of the banking crisis, is also the same guy that is a board of advisors at Ripple. When you start to understand that, you ask, how can they lose? How is it possible that Ripple can lose? Not just the lawsuit, the goals that they have for XRP. When the 43rd Treasurer of the United States, Rosie Rios, literally says that XRP distinguishes itself in the digital asset space with real world utility, how is this going to fail? How is this going to stay a 50-cent coin forever? And maybe we'll never see 50 cents again. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that we ever see 50 cents again? Is this it? Is this our XRP moment? We go up, up, and away. The rocket ship to the XRP moon. Is this it? Let me know in the comments down below. Will we ever see 50 cent XRP again? Now, I see Kenny D dropped a 5 spot. You think we might retest the 55 cent level? Well, funny enough, that's the question we just asked the whole chat, right? Do we see another 50 cent back test? And I don't want to keep, I want to keep the vibes positive. I want to have a Sunday session that is fun, but I am worried. If I had to be honest, if I had to speak from my heart, my soul to you tonight, our connection, I'm worried. But hey, if you want to send this thing, I've been ready. We are going to turn up in a major way. I already have 3 Discord meetups planned for next year. We are going to be having a good time. And the reason why I wanted to make sure we already got the calendars marked and we already set up some big time meetups for our Discord family is because we are going to be, one, celebrating XRP, full clarity, full, victory in the lawsuit. Maybe we're going to be getting a settlement here soon. Be watching that. But in addition to that, we're going to be game planning and strategizing what the heck we're going to do with all this dang money, right? And it's not just from XRP. It's from all of our investments in the digital asset space. It's from all of our other investments in other asset classes. It's from all of the work that we've been doing and making sure that we get a raise at a job. Getting a raise at our job, starting our side hustle, getting our business scaled up and growing, starting another business, just like Ripple, buying Medico, buying another vertical, custody, you buying another vertical within your business, expanding out what your service offering is, your service and products that your business is bringing to the world, and you're still bringing real world value. This is what our community is about. That's why I was so excited to get this session. We're going to bring a lot more this way when it comes to tactical wealth lessons. I dropped this exclusive in the Discord. This is exclusive for the Patreon. And so if you want to get tapped in, I got a new, fresh, updated website. It's zachrector.com. It's linked up down below. Make sure you guys go check out the new website. Let me know what you think of it. But then if you want to get tapped in for the exclusive content, tactical wealth lessons, business development content, real estate, we're also talking about private equity. We're doing a lot of deals back there. And when we put this whole plan together and we get together and meet in real person, the connections have been incredible for this year. Finally getting out of the house and finally starting to meet some of you guys, it has been absolutely incredible. I still wish that I'm still kicking myself that I didn't make it to the proper party. But I had some serious life happenings that were very good, by the way. But I couldn't make it to the proper party, but I saw that you guys turned up, and that's what I was looking for. Thank you for turning up for me. Appreciate that. We have XRP Vegas next year. We got the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. We already planned our first Discord meetup. That's going to be taking place, and that's going to be in January. So if you're looking to get tapped in with us, like I said, that's Excuse me. That's all at my website, zachrector.com. But other than that, I lay it all out that I can. Everything that I possibly can. There are some things that I can only talk about in the private group for legal reasons. And I got to be careful about talking about deals that I'm looking at. So for some of that, I have to share it only in the private group. And you guys know about censorship too. That was the whole reason why I started my private group 2 years ago. And here we are today to finally see this thing, come to fruition. It's a beautiful opportunity, but I put everything I can out here in the public space for you guys as far as the investments that I'm making, the moves that I'm making. We're decoding the data. We're watching the current events, tying it all together. I let you know, hey, I still don't own any gold, but one of our community members sent me some gold back. So I can officially say I am an owner of some gold, but I don't have a considerable position. You guys know my deal. I got my silver. I got my XRP. I got a couple other cryptos. I was trading. I was making some money trading. I got scared because I didn't trust any exchanges or Tether, so I dumped all my trading bag into XRP and I ran like hell out of the casino. Thank God I was able to get my XRP out. And so right now I'm just on the sidelines. My strategy is really simple right now. I have silver, XRP, and cash, and then prepping. And then I have a small garden. It's a very simple life. And right now, the cash is getting ready to be deployed. You bet. We're looking at equity and real estate. That's it right now. Buying more businesses, taking shares of private equity and real estate. That's it. And then focused head down on the content. And my goal right now is to get out a bunch of educational content for our community, as we are going to get, our community. Sometimes we got to go through, we're learning the basics still on a lot of this, these different asset classes on, building wealth, running a business, real estate. So we take it from the basics all the way to a more advanced level, but the educational content that I want to bring over the next 6 months as we begin the next bull run, that's my main mission right now, because there's going to be so many new people coming in too. Now, this is why I appreciate in our private community, we have so many people that help out others. And I see you guys in the live chat right now. You guys do a great job of asking, answering questions for me. I have 1,000 people in the chat right now, so I can't possibly read every single comment, right? But our community members do a great job of helping each other out. And that's what this is about. And for me right now, I see our XRP community breaking away from the rest of the space. We've always been the adults in the room, and now we get to see XRP price start to come into price discovery, start to come into realization of real utility. And what's going to be fun is there is going to be a lot of speculation. That's what's going to equal a violent move. I put the XRP God candle in the title because we're talking about the coming, massive pump for XRP, right? But when it does happen, we have our exit strategy in place. We have a reallocation program. That's a reallocation program, okay? At $10 XRP, we're going to go put some of it, into another deal. You don't necessarily have to sell it. At $20 XRP, we're going to put a little bit more XRP into another deal, right? We're going to, at $10 XRP, we're going to leverage a portion of our bag to go buy our first piece of real estate. At $20 XRP, we're going to leverage our XRP to go buy our second and third piece of real estate. And then by the time that XRP goes to 589, well, as we talked about in today's tactical wealth lesson, you might need to have a trust or two. Because we are watching right now a historical breakout into price discovery for some suppressed assets that we've been stacking the hell out of. But then what I see in our community, when I talk to you guys in the Twitter spaces, when I talk to you guys in the Discord chat, when I get to meet with you guys in person, what I'm seeing right now is that you guys are showing up every single day. Whether that's just learning, whether that's building, you guys are making moves every single day, and that's what's going to separate you from the masses right now that, one, aren't even getting good information if they tried, but two, most of them aren't even trying, and that's reflected in 50% of America doesn't even know what their 401k's in. So With that being said, guys, if you do have a 401k retirement account, you want to roll it over to Precious Metals, you can get metals shipped directly to you, or we can roll over your 401k. Just go to my website, go to the Precious Metals link. We can ship it to you. We can roll it over. I have my exchanges. I have my wallets. We have additional resources available there for the community. And if you want to get tapped in with the private group, it is there as well. As always, if you guys can do me a major favor by smashing it, tapping it, doing something with it, and make sure you guys are subscribed up here. If you're new, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our live content. Huge shout out to everyone that dropped some super chats tonight. I really appreciate the support, and I'm going to cut this one off at 1 hour and 13 minutes. I will see you in the next one. We'll be watching closely this week for a settlement, that SWELL conference coming up, and I see another 100 spot from Stuart. Good to see you're keeping people on the right track, Zach. God's work. Stuart, I appreciate you so much. And speaking of Australia, speaking of our Aussie friends from the land down under, XRP is back to $1 in that Australian currency, isn't it, Stuart? Where are the Aussies at in the chat? XRP's back to $1 in Australian dollars. What's your Australian? I'm going to look this up. What's the Australian dollar? What's it called? The Australian dollar? Okay, sure, of course. So XRP compared to Australian dollar is back up to $1 right now. $1.07. See, this is the same thing that I've been talking about with gold, right? Is that gold is breaking out and it's back to all-time high in 6 other major currencies. That's the reality right now. And XRP is starting to break out against some of these other currencies as well. See, these other currencies have a little bit tighter liquidity. There's not as much liquidity on some of these other currencies, and that's why you saw XRP against the Turkish lira back at all-time high here recently. These currencies are getting devalued quickly, and XRP is appreciating rapidly against that currency. Now, since XRP hasn't really moved too much, that's mostly depreciation on the currency, but I think that we're about to see some significant appreciation in the asset for XRP when folks start to realize that it has legal clarity and you can start to actually build on it. For the longest time, nobody could build on it, nobody could do anything with it besides stuff it in your wallet and, hope and pray that it goes up and, talk about XRP being a reserve currency and telling ourselves a story that it's going to be great and fantastic. Now we can actually start building on it too, and we can be a part of making sure that that gets fulfilled. See, that's what's so beautiful here is that we get to be a part of making sure that whole timeline gets realized sooner. We don't have to hope and pray and wait. We can build an NFT project on the XRP ledger. We have smart contracts coming through the Zahao ledger. We have the EVM sidechain, so you can roll over basically any Ethereum EVM smart contract over to the XRP ledger and settle, no problem, right? On top of that, we have cross-chain bridge XLS38D that's coming to the XRPL2. This is all sorts of utility coming to the XRPL on the back of legal clarity on the beginning ride of the next bull run. The sky's the limit. The sky is absolutely the limit. What an absolute blessing, guys. It is such a pleasure here tonight. It's at $1.14 in New Zealand. There you have it. There you have it, $1.14 in New Zealand. Yep. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap this one up. Go spend the rest of the Sunday night with wifey. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. So much support, so much love. XRP Peaky Blinder. 3 roos for Stuart. Good night, everyone. Eventually we'll make it down to Australia and we'll go see our friends in the land down under. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one. God bless all of you. Have a fantastic night. God bless.